Has something negative ever happened? And it keeps circling back in your mind, giving you some resentment, some anxiety, some doubt, some indecisiveness. Uncertainty has kicked in. And that's what happened to me this month. For the greater part of the month, I've been a teacher, a high school teacher to be specific, and this happened to me with a student. A little background. So me being a first-time teacher, I've had experience as a substitute, but it's nowhere near being a real teacher. I basically had to deal with class management, and nobody really prepares you for this until you get into the class. A week after me being a teacher, I stumbled across a student, and this is what happened. I tried to manage the class and the noise level, also be productive in class, which is most important. There's a few students, there's about 5 of them, that had been just loud, disruptive, not progressive, and I had to get one of the students, perhaps 3 if I could have, but at this situation, there was one person that I needed to change seats, basically. There was a verbal interaction, which as I mentioned, I'm new, and I should have been more prepared for this, but it is what it is. I asked the students to go to another seat, preferably in front so I can monitor him, but he says no. I told him to, if you don't do it, I'm going to put him in a system, a software that lets the admin know, the staff know that there's some interference. He said, go ahead. Given my lack of experience, I'm going to call his parents if he doesn't start moving. Come to my surprise, he didn't care. And that's fine. I thought that was very surprising, and I thought that I had to think quick and be a little more resourceful. Now, the last option that I had was the behavioral specialist in the school. Given that, I know that it's his job to reprimand or do whatever it is necessary to administer and to do the right thing for this type of situation. To my surprise, the student responded to my favor. He said that it's going to be the second or third time that he's meeting this behavioral specialist, so he did move to the seat where I asked him to. I felt kind of accomplished at that time, but of course it's not the right way because it's right in front of the other students. I'm not there to force authority upon these students. I was supposed to give them some options and make them think about their actions. With that being said, it wasn't too long that I quit the job, but that's going to be another video in another day. So now, after this situation, it kept on playing in my head on my drive home, that same night, the same week. This multiple playbacks in my head is called rumination. And there's an old TikTok by Dr. Winch who talked about emotional hygiene, and he talked about rumination at the end of his video. And I thought that this is very much applicable to my situation and to a lot of people's situation where negative things play back on your head, and it's quite a biological thing that happens a lot. It possibly has something to do with Atomic Habits, which is from James Clear. However, I believe that this is something that is normal, especially something that is traumatic, that is memorable. Something like this that happened to me could also happen to you, where it also playbacks and gives you anxiety, it gives you resentment, it gives you doubt, so low self-esteem. Quite natural, however, it also needs to be acknowledged and also be recognized. I'll link the video of this TED Talk so you guys can watch it on your own time. On the opposite side of rumination, there's this thing called, and I googled it, it's called anti-rumination. The opposite of rumination, where you don't think about it, you don't think about the negative stuff, and makes me think also, why can't we do rumination on the positive stuff, where we play back our positive things involuntarily. I don't know the scientific answer to that, but my thought process is if we force somehow or voluntarily think about positive things a lot, it would reinforce self esteem, reinforce self confidence. It would reinforce positivity. It would reinforce definitely things that are opposite of negativity. One instance that pops into my mind that I can't forget and I shouldn't forget was the time when I was teaching a student Photoshop. I've done Photoshop numerous times years ago. However, going back, it takes a little bit of know-how and navigating through the tools bar to make sure that I know what I'm talking about, and especially teaching kids. Now, the student was asking about the lasso tool and things like that and how to use it. At that moment, when she asked me about how to use the lasso tool, I didn't know what I was doing, navigating to it, and I picked it up quickly, and I was like eureka moment, and it was such a nice feeling, something that I wouldn't forget. I definitely want to put that into the forefront where positive stories or positive instances, memorable instances, like being with family, being with your best friend, or even just remembering things that makes you feel good. Try to savor that and try to write it down, because when things are not going your way, you want to look back at these moments and definitely give you a positive light. You get compliments, try to write it down, because you never know when you're going to feel bothered or feel kind of low during work. I know there's a lot of ways to get bogged down at work, getting yelled at by a customer or getting yelled at by your boss. It doesn't feel good. So when you save those complimentary receipts, make sure that you do that, because it'll come in handy. That's it for me today. I hope I give you guys some insights with rumination. And if you have any questions or comments or advice, put it down below in the comments. And this is not going to be a perfect video. Thanks for sticking through at this point, and I'll see you guys on the next video.